So what is meme stocks about? GME. You might think you don't care. I think if you listen to the end, you'll care a little bit more, to say the least. And then the rest is on you. As an adult, you're probably going to work, provide for the family, your food and everything else. And it's a very troublesome time at the moment, even if you ain't got a clue why. Your bills have gone up, mortgages are going up. There's problems with the banks again after 2008. So I'm not here to sell anything, not here to tell you what to buy, what to do. Just show you maybe a few things to go away and look at, so that you understand, at least from my perspective, being an ape, amongst 5 to 10 million spread across different stocks currently in the stock market, why I'm an ape. So where would you look? Well, there's going to be a few steps. If you look at step one, you've been here for a minute still listening, hopefully. If you look at step one and at the end of it you think it's logical, it's reasonable, go to step two. If you don't, I wish you luck, peace, happiness, love, prosperity and everything good in the world. Step one. So 2021, it might not have come to your attention that a stock ran up from what was previously 2020 $1.91. It ran up to over $480. Some of it was pre-market, after hours. You don't need to know about that. What you do need to know about is why. There's an interview with a gentleman called Peterfy, P-E-T-T-E-R-F-Y. He is the CEO of a company called iBroker, where you can go on and do options and buy shares, etc, etc. Now the reason that's important is he done an interview at the time you might not have seen. GME run up to the numbers that it did, and the reason it stopped at the numbers that it did. But he was on mainstream media telling the world exactly what he felt was going on and just how much he was worried. That would be step one. If you go and have a look at that interview and then you think there might be a bit more to it, maybe it's worth paying attention, then look at step two. 2008, nobody told you what was going on. Nobody gave you an heads up. Everyone was saying it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then bank after bank run into serious difficulty. And then for the next 12 years or so, we fought to recover. There was lots of people, millions of people. Widely reported 5 trillion stolen from pensions, 401ks. I say stolen because they knew it was coming but didn't warn anybody. And in actual fact, if you go and look at the congressional hearings, they were asked, one particular company was asked about why was it telling all its employees to tell all of us, retail, you, me, pensions, to buy dog shit, something they were selling that they knew was rubbish. Credit default swaps and market-backed securities, don't need to know what they are, all played a part, but it wasn't the whole story. So if you go and have a look at Peterfy, and then you think there's more to it, and then you look into that and you see there's more to it, what else can you look at? Well, in 2021, there's what I term, and others I guess, the perfect storm. People like me, I'm on my way home from work now, but they had an opportunity, or they see something, or they heard something. And yes, some people FOMO'd in, fear of missing out, some people YOLO'd, you only live once, but it was an awful lot more as a percentage that can't explain. We're not 16 to 18 year old living at home, as you can see, and there's lots just like me, of all ages, from all areas, different countries, that were all paying attention or were lucky enough to hear what was going on or see it on mainstream media, and then they did their due diligence and started looking into it. But a lot of people piled in. 2.5 years later, through certain indicators used, like OBV, you don't need to know what that is, people are still here, and they're still fighting the good fight, a worthy fight, a justifiable fight, and they're not leaving. Why? Because we're not 16 to 18 year olds. We've had 20 years on earth, 30 years on earth, 40 years on earth, 50 years on earth, 60 years on earth, 70 years on earth, where we've been constantly lied to by mainstream media, governments, pretty much most of them, them being within the 1% and the rest of us are in the 99. So when it ran up, people didn't sell, they just held. Mainstream media told everyone sell, sell, sell. It's a meme stock, it's a bubble, it's a this. Does that remind you of what you've been told for all these years about crypto? And yes, some things in crypto have been scams and bubbles and, you know, nasty people trying to steal your money. I don't need any of your money. In order to protect your money, I hope you listen to that and you'll go on to the next step. Understanding why we bought, we hold, and we're still here. And that's to do with a fight for justice and fairness and a transparent market. It's also due to a fight that for 20 years they've been doing things like naked short selling. Don't need to know what it is at this moment. They're marking things up as shorts, marked as longs. Don't need to know what it is. But these are all the reasons why we're still here, as well as we want to make money, and that's a justifiable reason in itself. There's a lot of things, people we won't meet, that we're trying to reach out to. You might be one of them. But unlike mainstream media, it isn't just about money. It's about history. It's about how they get away with doing what they're doing. And we're lied to by mainstream media and the suits and the experts. So people started doing their DD and a community formed around them that we call ourselves, for the most part, Apes. It's retail investors that, having done their DD, realised there was a real problem within the market, that there was real issue with how the market was being operated by a cancer that exists within it. And it's been able to get away with it for 20 odd years. So we're loud, we shine the light, we ain't leaving, we carry on and on and on. Trying to reach people, I hope, that might be watching this, just like you. I still don't know what's going on. Let's go on to the next step. Now you understand that it's more than just making money. Now you understand that there is actually, for us, real reasons why we remain, why we're still here, why we hold, why we fight. One of those is now you. So let's concentrate on you. 2008, the market crash wasn't just market-backed securities and credit default swaps. As bad as that was, if you understand it, which was a way of them being greedy, a way of them trying to pass that greed on to everybody else so that they reduce what they lost. We paid trillions. We wasn't asked, it just happened. The Fed Reserve was printing money and giving it to banks, all banks, even bad banks, that had got themselves into a position through market-backed securities and the housing market in America and a number of other things. A number of other things does include shorting. Now they'll tell you it's a justifiable and necessary tool within the market, and to an extent that's true. But like all things in life, if you can make money out of it, there will be people willing to exploit that, and they really exploit it. So it isn't just the company that's lied or told untruths or cooking their books. If you remember Enron, why is that important? Well, Enron was important because all the suits and experts, for the most part, were telling you it's a buy, and then people lost everything. If you look at somebody like Bernie Madoff, they say what a great guy. He's on Time magazine and talked about in Wall Street as a colossus. Didn't help his investors, some of which didn't ask any questions, or if they did, they ignored the answers. We don't act like that. So you had a combination of things that are worthy now of being able to go away and look into. Why do I bring up Enron? Why do I bring up Bernie Madoff? Because it's always you that loses. It's always us that lose. They don't lose, we lose. We end up in a position where we have to pay. They'll put their hands in our pocket through things like increased tax. In our pocket because we lose our jobs. In our pocket because we can't afford to pay the mortgage. In our pockets because we'll now lose our houses. That is a very, very, very real consequence of 2008. This time round it's a lot worse. Nothing changed. Nothing was stopped. It was allowed to continue much as it always had. And whatever rules they brought in, they were either bypassed, ignored or removed. So So now we're in a position where in 2023, for the last 2 years, brilliant people that have spent an awful lot of time, made a lot of sacrifices to understand what's going on, who's likely to be hurt and who's likely to win. And the people that are going to be hurt is all of us, again. If you're still listening, the next stage would be what they call hedge against something. So if the market crashes and we all end up where there's mass unemployment and interest rates are through the roof and cost of living goes through the roof and we're not working, we're going to have mortgages and foreclosures again and everything else that followed 2008. However, if you go and look at things like leverage, that's what the banks do. They'll take, through fractional reserve banking, which is in America in all the banks, there's certain laws required that you hold on a certain amount of that deposit. Now that gives some people hope, belief that their bank will be fine, whichever bank you're in. What's also happened, which a lot of people don't talk about or don't realise, if you're not in this at least, is fractional reserve banking should be where X amount of that deposit is held by the banks for rainy days or for people to draw their money out. Now you might be looking at things like SVB, Credit Suisse, and things that are going on with all these banks. When they removed what's required regarding your deposits, it wasn't that it was for our benefit, it was to hold things together, protect the market, protect us. That's what we're told. What it actually means is they then could use every single penny that anybody had put in because they didn't need to hold on to any percentage of the deposits in each bank. That then means, as well as all the things that they done before that got them into this position, now they could use the last of the money supply within the banks to put into stock market, shares, bonds, etc. Derivatives. In 2001, I believe it was, Warren Buffett, widely held up as a very, very smart man. I won't argue that. He released a paper and spoke about it. Go and have a look. He released a paper and spoke about derivatives being a ticking nuclear time bomb. Because it could be a year, 5 years, 20 years. What's a derivative? Well, you're selling something, I want to buy it, but I agree to pay a price that we both agree at a later date. Now, if it was coffee and I agree to pay $1 a kilo, but on the date we agree it's $2, I've saved $1. You could have sold it, but you've now got to give me that coffee and I hand over me $1. And I'm instantly 100% up. Some of these derivatives are in all sorts of weird and wonderful things, strange things. But the leverage, which I mentioned before, is being used. What's leverage? Well, if you've got £1 million, but you want 100x that leverage, it's 100 million. And what the banks have been doing throughout, everywhere, in all areas of the market, financial, where they could make money, they've been doing that sort of leverage and higher, which is far worse than 2008. That means when it all goes wrong, the Fed, governments will have to print money, the Fed or governments will have to find money to be able to put in. And you've heard Janet Yellen recently talking about anything over 250 grand she'll guarantee. What you might not have seen is an interview where she said anything that her or the FDIC agree to save will get bailed out. Well, I thought there was no more bailouts. I thought 2008 taught everyone a lesson. I thought all rules come in and stop it. And they're changing rules daily, weekly, monthly, in order to carry on bailing people out. The only thing this time round that they seem to have learned is act quicker and don't call it a market crash. Don't go on mainstream media saying it's all gone to... Don't tell you. So that means all your hard work could go down the Swanee. Some people say, oh yeah, you don't want to say things that might scare people, but I don't want to sugarcoat it either. All I'm asking is you go and have a look. Now within the ape community, there's lots of stock, lots of shares that have been purchased and been held. And everyone within the community across all these various stocks are shining a light on what we believe to be corruption, manipulation, theft, blatant theft from everything. bonds, shares, everything. So if the market crashes and the banks have done leverage like you wouldn't believe, and we're in a position where through fractional reserve banking they don't have to add a percentage saved, stored away somewhere so that you can go and draw your money out, what do you think is going to happen when it all goes wrong? Now, markets crash every 10 to 15 years. Every 75 to 100 years, we have a really big crash. There's statistics out there that show you yearly, 5 yearly, 10 yearly, 50 yearly, and lots of smart people that can talk on it. You might have the time, having come to this stage of this chat, to be able to go and look at it. I hope you do. I hope you take a look and that you're able to make your own informed decision. I've looked. 5 to 10 millionaires have looked. We're mums and dads, just like you. You know, we go to work just like you. We've got kids maybe, we've got families maybe, mortgages maybe, just like you. We can't guarantee anything. We can state what we have, we can show what we have, we can shine the light like we have, and we can continue to reach out to people just like you. Michael Burry didn't do that leading up to 2008. Nobody did that leading up to 2008. This time round, what's the big difference? Well, we have social network. We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Reddit, we have Discord channels, Telegram groups. We're trying and trying not to tell you what to buy, just so that you can have a look. And this is honest people, genuine people, good people, nice people, caring people, not people that are just wanting to be rich. We haven't turned into the arrogant bastards that we fight. So we're out there trying to spread the word so that you will look and make your own mind up. And there's lots of places that you can look. But some of them topics, some of them things that I've spoken about, ain't a bad place to start. But if you really want to know what apes are about, why we get the mainstream media narrative said about us, if you really want to know why we're still here, if you really want to understand what it is as a community, because it is now, are trying to do, it's get you to look. We're not paid by anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want people to walk into another 2008 blindsided. We're not trying to be heroes. We don't want to be the next Burry. We're doing things day after day after day and have for 2.5 years to reach you. We've got our side, we've got our beliefs, we've got what we think, our DD. It's out there, shared. But it's going to be really tough for you to catch up in 2.5 years. And the only guarantee in life is death. Could we be wrong? Possibly. You lose nothing. Nothing changes. They carry on doing what they're doing, the way they're doing it. We all carry on losing. There's no doubts about we lose because of the way they do it. And they'll tell you markets crash. It's what markets do. I'm here today to tell you markets crash because of what they do. There's a huge difference. So to go back over 2.5 years and read every bit of DD, watch every YouTube, know exactly who in the community, because we're such a vast community and so many eyes are on it and so many opinions, can be quite tough. But some of them things I've spoken about, you can go and look into yourself. And then if you're still here after 18 minutes and 50 seconds, maybe, just maybe you will. I hope you do. Don't come back and thank me. Whatever decisions you make at the end of watching this is on you. Whatever you decide to do or not do is on you. You might have turned off in 30 seconds. You might be here till the end. But ultimately, like me, like millions and millions of others, I bought for the reasons I did, the stock that I did, and I ain't leaving. I'm willing to take on the man and the heart of the beast being in the market and the cancer within the market. That means 401ks get stolen from. That the market doesn't just crash because of what it does, it crashes because of what they are doing to it. And one day, maybe soon, we'll find out how correct I was as an individual, how correct we were as apes, where we were right and where we was wrong as a community. But reaching out to you, not to sell you something, not to tell you what to buy, but so that you can look at the things that we've all looked at and make your own informed decision is completely different to mainstream media. We're not telling you to buy Apple and watch it drop from 3 trillion. Nearly got 3 trillion market. We didn't tell you to buy that. Robinhood, we didn't tell you to buy that. And a number of other things. All we're saying is the banks are up to it again. The market is acting in such a way that is stealing money by naked short selling. And a number of other things. And the regulators are too slow to act. The regulators are taking too long to act. And Congress won't get involved. Mainstream media won't report all sides, both sides. Nobody wants to talk about the things that we're trying to talk about, we're flagging up. They'll all talk about it if I'm correct, if Apes are correct, if our community is correct the day after. And between now and then is an opportunity for you to look, and I hope you do. So anyone who ever watches this, I appreciate it. I'm no hero, I'm just like you, and I'm worried about everybody just like us. And everyone in the community, for the most part, is trying to send a similar message. Just have a look. Some are going different paths. Some have got more things that they think's important. It's all the same message. We don't want to walk in blindsided as people to another 2008. So I hope you look.